50/50 podcast. Hi everyone, I'm Yas.
And I'm Yel.
And welcome back to 50/50.
Yes, welcome back to 50/50. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button while you're here. We have new episodes out every single Wednesday. And yeah, we're so excited to be back to filming because you might not have noticed, but we actually pre-filmed a couple episodes because we went on vacation. We went on a beach vacation. And so we've actually haven't recorded for like a month now.
It's been a month, yeah. It feels good to be back. It feels good to be sitting here in the chairs. I feel like a new book, new chapter.
Yeah, exactly. It feels good. We went on our vacation. So it's a much needed vacation.
Yes.
I felt so like
rejuvenated.
Rejuvenated. It's like what my soul needed. Like I felt so great coming back and just like excited, full of energy, just ready for everything.
Me too. More motivation.
Exactly. More motivation. So happy to be back here recording also a podcast episode because I feel like even today when we were getting set up, it's like it kind of became a little foreign to us because we're like, we haven't done it in a little while.
It's been a while, a month not doing something, you kind of forget a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So, but we're going to get back into our habit of filming on our regular days and everything and have lots of episodes out. So yeah, we just wanted to catch back up with you guys a little bit on our vacation and everything too. Yeah. It was just a chill family vacation. Like,
yes.
So nice. We go to the same spot every year. It's like our annual family vacation. And I think we all look forward to it all year.
I do. I can't wait. And it's like waiting the whole year to get there.
I know.
And then we get there and it's like so much fun. And then it goes by so fast. And that's the sad part.
I know. And we're there for 2 weeks, but it still goes by pretty fast.
Yeah, I feel like we need an extra week. But like they always say, you always want that extra day.
Exactly. That's what they say. Vacation is never the right amount. The right amount is always one more day than what you booked.
Yeah.
Because basically it's never the right amount.
Exactly. And you always another day and another day.
Yeah.
It's never enough.
But we had so much fun just getting up. I just love that little routine that you get into when you're at the beach because like you already know what you're going to do and what you're doing is like so chill because you just like get up, like obviously get ready, have breakfast and then go down to the pool, beach, like, and you're just like basically like, I don't know, you're not lounging all day because I was thinking that I was about to say, oh, you lounge all day, but not really because we're swimming.
It's like you're working out really all day.
Yes, actually, I was gonna say I'm actually more active than ever when I'm on vacation.
Yeah, I mean, I had more steps than I think I have had, being here around the house and just like doing errands or whatever.
Yeah, I was looking at my steps count and I had like 15,000, 13,000, 12,000, like daily, exactly. Yeah. Every day I was hitting like way over the 10,000. Well, way over for me, but like, you know what I mean? And when other days when I'm here at home, like I'll go for a walk for 1 hour and then do my, all my daily stuff and everything. And I still won't hit 10K. So I'm just crazy. Like, that's the good thing about the beach.
So just the air, chill. The beach air is it just smells different there. I don't know. It has its own, like, I guess it's salt water or whatever, but I just love the smell of just like, and it's kind of like also kind of humid, but it's so nice. I don't know. I just like it.
I just love it.
It's amazing.
So good. It's just a different vibe at the beach.
It
really is more laid back, like living also.
Everything's slower paced. Here it's so fast paced and your daily things. But anyways, we're so happy. Yeah. In the end, we're happy to be back too, but we're happy to be back. We wish we could stay longer there.
Oh yeah. I always wish I could stay longer. And then while I was there, something that happened to me, like a crazy thing that happened to me is I got bit by a freaking wasp. Well, I call it a bee, but apparently it's a wasp. It's a wasp. Googled it and everything. We saw the exact kind. And because I saw the thing that bit me and I got stung not once, but twice by the same wasp. It got kind of like caught. Like we were on our way up from the pool and everything. And like on our way to the elevator, we passed this like little tiny garden. And that's my only thought that where it could have came from, like from that garden or whatever. And I guess it got caught between like my cover up and my skin. Something about that. So as soon as we went up the elevator, like I had no idea this wasp was on me. I had no idea. So as soon as we walk into our room, I just I was going to wash my hands in the sink, which is literally like 5 steps from the door of like going to the room. And I just feel like, I feel like a pinch, but it was like a really hard pinch. So I was just like, what? I thought something, I never thought it was a bug. Like I honestly never thought that. I thought it was like, I don't know, something of my clothes, like the tag or something was like jabbing into my skin. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. It was just so quick. And then like the pain was like, it was like a pinch and then like deeper. And then when I just go like this to my cover up, because I could just feel the pain coming from here. So I quickly wanted to see, the wasp flies out and I'm just like, oh my God, I just freaking got stung.
And you run out because it's the bathroom that's right there.
Yeah. And I run out to you.
You run out and I was like, what happened?
And I'm like, I think I got stung. Like as soon as I saw the bug, I was like, okay, obviously I got stung by a
you're like,
wasp.
there's a wasp in there. I was like, what the heck happened?
Yeah. And then we like closed the bathroom door just so it can like, until we got it out because we don't want to sting anybody else. And yeah, it was just like, the last time I got stung, I feel like I was like 8 or 9. Like I remember being little and it was in my leg.
Yeah.
And I remember it hurting a lot, but man, it really hurts.
You didn't only get stung once, you got stung twice.
I know. I can't believe it. I don't know. Like,
oh my God.
Is that normal? I don't even know. I didn't.
I don't know, but I mean, when we were Googling, they say that wasps sting multiple times.
Yeah.
And it was painful.
It was painful. And like, I remember you were Googling because I was like in so much pain, but it was really hard, but then it started like slowly decreasing. So that was good. But you were like, the pain lasts for like 1 to 2 hours.
Yeah.
And like Google, this one, they got it right. It really did last that long. Like, of course it was decreasing. Like every minute it kept getting better and better, but literally for like the first 2 hours, it really hurt. And I put vinegar, like they said, I put the vinegar.
Yeah, which
quickly.
is so crazy because, you know, our dad was like, put vinegar. And we were like, okay, because we didn't know what to do. So we just put the vinegar.
Yeah.
I mean, we had alcohol, we had vinegar, we had everything. We had, you know, first aid kit kind of ready to go in case of anything happening.
Yeah.
But he's like, use the vinegar. And they said that the vinegar with the wasp bite kind of like neutralizes the acidity.
Exactly.
And so that really helped you. And it didn't get
helped.
So swollen or anything.
No, it didn't. I put the vinegar and like you were saying, Dad thought about that. Thank goodness. And shout out to Mom because she's the one who brought the vinegar. And I was like, what? When she was packing it for the trip, I'm like, why are you bringing the vinegar? She's like, oh, in case of like a jellyfish bite, whatever. I was like, all right, you know.
Which we always, one of us ends up getting stung by a jellyfish.
That's true. This trip we didn't, thank goodness. But I got stung by a wasp. So it came in handy. So basically, shout out to, you know, both of our parents because they helped out so much. Yeah. And then I put ice later too. They were like, ice can help numb it down. And it really did help. But man, it was painful for like those first 2 hours. It just was like, continues to like be like
throbbing?
Like throbbing and like just like a stabbing pain. It just feels like a little like just pinching right there. Yeah, I got swollen at that moment and I was like, oh my God. Because we were Googling also, you were like, it lasts for like a week or something.
Yeah, it said like within 48 hours it'll get even worse or something, like the swelling.
But it didn't. Thank goodness. My swelling got bad at that moment, but that was it.
Yeah, I think the vinegar probably helped.
I think it helped a lot. And what was different about it from a regular bug bite is that it doesn't even itch. Like I was thinking like, oh my God, these things are going to be so itchy. But no.
And you have nothing, right?
No, nothing. It completely went away. Like within a week, which like, like within a week it was gone and it was like done. Like there's no scar. There's no like, it's just like nothing happened.
Yeah.
And it was right here on my side, by the way, like right by my like, ribs.
Your rib cage, yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And I'm so happy that, you know, number one, you're not allergic. Number two, it wasn't anything too major.
Exactly. So now next time if I see a wasp, I'm not going to be that scared because I'm always scared. I'm like, I don't want to get stung. It hurts so bad. It did hurt really bad, but it's like... I wouldn't be scared if I get stung again. I don't want to get stung again, but I wouldn't be that scared.
I'm still scared because it was painful. I saw you. You were in pain.
I was in pain, but it wasn't that bad. I thought it would be worse.
Wow.
Yeah, but I wasn't in pain at the moment.
I remember when we were kids, you know, that hurt so bad. We both got stung at the same time.
Yeah. Because I was like I don't know. I feel like those were bees. I'm not sure because they were like rounder and like, I don't know. But there was like some type of nest.
There was a nest and we didn't know.
Yeah.
And then we all got stung.
Yeah, we like jumped over it because it was like in I don't even know what you would call that, like a drain thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It was
something weird, but there was like a nest in there apparently. We didn't know. We were just playing around. We were kids, you know, playing in the backyard and all that stuff. So, but yeah. So that's my kind of like low light of the trip. But honestly, everything else was great.
Yeah, everything else was great. And a highlight of that is that nothing really major happened. So,
exactly.
Yeah, you got stung, but thank goodness it could have been worse, I think.
Yeah, it could have been worse. And then for you, I know you have your ongoing tooth issues, but luckily it didn't happen at the beach. That's also a good thing.
Yeah, you know, me and my teeth, I've always had, unfortunately, it's funny, but it's so horrible for me that I have to go through all this stuff. I have so many teeth problems.
Yeah.
And it's been ever since I was little.
Yeah.
I just have constant cavities. And, like, you know, they ended up telling me it's just because of my genetics.
Yeah.
So, you know, God knows I went to a dentist again. I have to get a root canal. I have 2 cavities. I have to get a tooth extracted. So I'm just going to go through it in probably in the next month. I'm going to start all my treatments and everything.
Yeah.
Because, and another thing on top of that is I have dental anxiety.
Yeah.
So that's another story because having to go to the doctor in general, I hate. And then having like this dental anxiety that I have is horrible because I'm literally at the doctor's office and I start panicking.
Yeah.
I literally sometimes I get a panic attack. Sometimes I just get an anxiety attack.
Yeah.
But it just depends, I guess, on the day and on my mood, really. And man, it's horrible. But thankfully, everywhere that I go, they're so nice. They're so sweet. They're so caring.
They know you.
They know me. They're understanding. And
they always tell you that you're not the only one either. They always say they're like, you're not the only one. A lot of people like hate the dentist and get this like also dental anxiety. And like, so I feel like that comforts you a little bit.
It does comfort me because because I'm just like, I'm so sorry. I'm like your worst patient ever. I'm like, because I feel so bad because I'm like, I just can't help it. You know, I feel like I can help it, but at the same time, I can't help it because my emotions just get
the best of you.
The best of me. And until I just like settle down and get my mind off of it, it just goes, you know, my fears.
Yeah.
And my fear is pain. And I've had so much pain going to the dentist, and I've had horrible dental stories.
Yeah.
And so, well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So I have to do it because I want to get my teeth, you know, I don't want to have cavities.
Exactly.
I hate it.
And I feel like it's going to be, I'm sure there's going to be some pain going through it, but I feel like if you just get through all that stuff, hopefully it's like a new slate, you know what I mean? A clean slate. So it's like you can start fresh, and then hopefully, you know, nothing else comes up. Like you said, the dentist did say it is genetic. So unfortunately, you're just like more prone to getting cavities and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm just hoping, you know, you can get through this stuff easily and as quick as possible.
Me too. And without so many tears, because guys, oh my gosh, I'm just crying and crying and crying. Ugh, I hate it. But anyways, I'm an emotional person too. So
yeah, me too. I like don't cry over everything. Like I'm not a crier when it comes to like movies and stuff like that, but other things I am like, especially real life stuff. That's when I cry. And like, I feel like once I start crying, I can't stop. I'm just like,
and motherhood has changed me. Before I wouldn't cry. I would just be like, whatever, I don't care. People would think I'm like so cold hearted. Yeah, because I just wouldn't cry, but I just didn't feel like crying.
Yeah, you doesn't mean you don't feel the emotions. You can feel sad or whatever. It didn't trigger you to cry. I mean, that's how I am till this day.
I just wouldn't cry. I would feel sad. I would feel horrible, but my crying, I don't know, whatever it is, like symptom or whatever, just wasn't fully developed. I don't know. And now all of a sudden that I'm a mom, I cry over everything. Yeah. It's so crazy. I'm so emotional. And that takes me to, you know, I've been very emotional, very, very, very emotional about my baby starting school. Yeah. And I'm so emotional about it. And even when I talk about it, I want to cry. And it's just so, it's like that separation, you know, this is her first time ever going to school. And I'm worried. I'm just a worried mother. I'm sure there's many other moms out there that have, you know, their kid going to school for the first time. And, you know, she's my baby. Yeah. And we were in lockdown, you know, everything when that happened, everything 2020, you know, we've had so much like together time. Yeah. Always together, always the both of us. And so, I'm worried. I'm nervous. I'm also happy. So it's like a mix of emotions, you know. I'm also happy because it's like a new chapter. Exactly. A new life. You know, it's going to be great for her. It's going to be great for me. And getting to do all these things for school and all this stuff, it's going to be fun, but I'm still worried, you know?
Of course. I feel like that's a natural emotion to have because it's something new, and we're all like, that's what people say, like the most, I think everybody's scared of is like scared of the unknown, right? The unknown, so you don't know what's going to happen until it happens. And of course, school is something you have to do and everything. And like, she's going to love it. I just know her personality and everything. And I know that she's just going to love going to school so much, like love doing all the little activities that they do, like just even being with other kids her age. She's going to love all of that. I know so much, but it is so sad, even me as the aunt, because I do feel like she's my baby. Yeah. And I feel so sad too, because I feel so sad about like this chapter closing of like kind of like her babyhood. Yeah. Because I know even though she is school age now, so technically she's not a baby anymore, according to like our baby. She's our baby, and she is a freaking baby. I mean, going to school, if you think about it, I know kids have to do it, and it makes sense, especially for, you know, parents in their jobs. It makes sense, right, for kids to go to school instead of being at like a daycare or whatever. But I feel like 5 is so young to go to school.
It's too young, and it's a full day of school, so they're there for so many hours, and I'm just like, first of all, I'm like, what am I going to do with myself? Yeah. And then I'm like, what is she going to be doing? Like, I just want to be there. And you know, this is the craziest thing for me. You literally send your child with people that you have no idea who they are.
That you don't even know who they are.
You don't know anything about them. You don't know their personality. Yeah. You don't know not even how old they are. Yeah. You don't know anything. Like, nothing.
It's really kind of crazy how we have to, and like we just have to trust them, because like obviously we're not saying we're against school. Obviously you want your kids to go to school, get educated. We've been in public school too. Exactly.
We graduated. We have, you know, degrees and everything. But
but it just feels so weird that like, because there's not an option to not send your kid to school. You can homeschool, you can do that, but like, your child has to
have some kind of education,
enroll in some type of education program, which makes total sense. Love that. You know, everything's great.
We're for that because I want her to learn everything.
Exactly. You want her to be, you know, learn and develop as she's supposed to with her age and all that. But I just feel like it is crazy. Like you're saying that you have to enroll your kids, and you, like you're saying, you don't know who is there. Nope. Obviously you don't know that they're kids too, like that's okay, but that's fine. But like even the teachers, like I feel like they should give something like, I don't know, like you get a little bio of each of the teachers, like something.
You need
like
to have something.
Meet them, because you didn't meet them. Like there was like some type of like
we had like an orientation already. Yeah, there was an orientation, but
you only were allowed to talk for like 2 minutes or something.
There's so many kids, you know. There's so many parents, and like it's kids with their brothers and sisters and their previous like years, and so it's so much like talking with everyone that the teacher can't devote so much time to each parent. You know, it's just like a quick hi, yes, I'm the teacher. Okay, on to the next. Like hi, yes, I'm the,
but you can't get the vibe of like what type of person they are or anything.
No, you can't.
And you have to trust your child with this, you know, teacher for however many hours a school day is. I feel like it's like 7 hours or something.
What is it, like 9 months that they're in school or something? And this person is literally with my child for as like more time than me. I feel like almost.
Yeah. No, not really, because you still
not really.
But that I know you mean. But a big chunk of the day.
A big chunk of the day. That's what I mean.
Monday to Friday, it's gonna be a big chunk of the day.
My child is gonna be with this teacher for a huge chunk of the day, and it's just crazy. Yeah. But you know, we're gonna go to another, you know, meet the teacher kind of thing. Yeah. And, you know, I'm only hoping for positive vibes from the teachers, because I also still don't know who my daughter's teacher is going to be. I don't know anything. They're so slow at doing that stuff, like sending out all these things.
They're going to send it out. Basically, you're just going to know a few days before the first day of schooling. That's how they planned it. So it's like,
so you really don't know anything. I don't know. They need like you said, they need a bio. They need something, like we need to interact one-on-one.
We need like a video, like, you know, like this is going to be your teacher, and like give us a video.
We need to have like a cookout or something, you know, get invited to like a school cookout or something. So we can get to know each other, because like, come on, you're gonna be with my child all day long, every single day,
especially for like, you know, going into school for the first time. Maybe you don't need it for every single grade, but at least for the first time, like when you're sending your kid to school and everything. And with all this stuff of back to school and everything, we've just been like reminiscing on even us going to school, which is crazy. And we've said it before, you know, we're kids, first generation Americans. So like our parents are immigrants to America. They did not go to school here, you know, at all. They finished all their schooling
back in their respective countries.
Exactly. They came as adults. So when we went to school, it was such a different like thing than now with my niece, your daughter, you know, going to school, because we're familiar with the school system here.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
Same. I remember my first day of school, my first day of kindergarten.
I remember it too. I remember getting like, you know how, I don't know if they do it now, but back then, actually they don't do it now. We would have like a test before going into like kindergarten and all that stuff. They would kind of test you without knowing that it was a test, but we knew. Yeah. Because they're like, oh, what is this color? Like, what does this mean? Can you tell me where left is, or something like that?
It was just like little things like that, just to gauge like that you're on the right level, I guess, to go into kindergarten. But yeah, I remember it so clearly. And now it's so different because our parents were immigrants in a new country. They don't know the school system here. Everything is so different from how they learned, like even just like the education plan, right? It's so different. And so like now we're seeing, you know, with our baby, I'll call him, because she's my baby too.
Our baby.
With our baby, how like different and like blessed she is in a different way. Yeah. Not that I love how we grew up. So I would never change it.
Yeah.
I would never change it for the world.
I love our upbringing. I love how everything happened with us, because that's who we are. I never want to change that ever.
Exactly. But we just see how like blessed she is, because she already like, even like we've talked about this in another episode where we did it's one of our earlier episodes of like just being like mixed races, mixed ethnicities, whatever you want to call it.
So check that out if you haven't checked out that video.
Check that video. Yeah. And like, you know, just not knowing even the names of foods, like American foods, right? But she knows all that. Like, so she's so much better off than we were already starting off. And we already had a great experience. So she's going to have just even a better experience.
Experience. I mean, she knows, you know, because of us, because we're, you know, born and raised here in America, you know.
Yeah, like her parents are not immigrants. She has American parents.
Exactly. And so she knows, you know, the names of all the foods. She knows, you know, even dances, you know, like when we went to school, they're like, okay, guys, we're going to do the electric slide. We're like, what? Like, we're so confused.
Or even the cha-cha slide. I remember they were like, we're going to do the cha-cha slide. And they're like, everybody's so excited. I'm like, what is that? They're like, just listen to the song. It'll tell you all the steps. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I really was listening and like, oh, okay. And then of course you learn it. It's not hard.
Yeah. But you're like, what never heard of it. That? We're going to do line dancing. Yeah. That's what they kind of said. Like, this thing is like about line dancing. I'm like, what is, I literally thought we were dancing like in a line, like going in a line to places. is. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's like
so weird. And so for us, it was all strange. Everything was so strange because, you know, we're eating different foods. We're saying different things. Like, we have no idea.
Learning a new culture really for us because we were so used to our parents' cultures at home. And that was already, we had exposure to two different cultures.
Yeah.
You know, Hispanic culture, Middle Eastern culture in our house, but that was what we were used to. And then going and like learning about the American culture, because the truth is that our parents didn't know all of these things of the American culture of, like, for example, that kids know at a young age. They didn't know all those things, like these dances, like we were saying. It's stuff that doesn't even matter. Like, you don't need this.
Yeah, it doesn't matter
in your life to like survive. Like, you do just fine without knowing it.
Right.
But it's just like little things like that. Like you're saying that she already knows, and it's so different because she's a second generation.
She is second generation, and
now like a person versus first generation, which
everything's just a shock to you. And now for her, it's not a shock.
Yeah, and especially for you being the firstborn.
Yeah,
because I remember for me, at least, I already would know because you would come home and tell us, like, so you would tell us your whole day. I remember, and especially me, I'd be like so curious about like school and everything in general, and that's when I didn't even go to school yet. And then later, when you like started middle school or started high school, I'd be so curious again. I'm just like, you know, you're the one always kind of going into these new unknown spaces first, and then like, would tell me about it. So, but even for you, it'd be so difficult. I guess difficult, but you didn't see it that way, right? When you were little, but
it wasn't difficult. New. For me, it was just like, I remember myself going in and I'm just like, well, I don't know anything. So let's go. Like,
just open for whatever.
Yeah, just open. Because I had no idea. I had nothing. I didn't even know what to expect.
Yeah.
I had zero like expectations. I didn't know. I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
Like, imagine just being like opening the door and just like, it's not a surprise or anything. You just don't know.
Yeah.
You have no idea. So you just try and follow along what everybody else is doing because you have no idea.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And then little by little, of course, you know, as the days went by, I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what this means.
Yeah.
This is what chicken patty means, right? Oh, I like this. I don't like that. Whatever, you know?
Or like all these different dances, songs. I remember you would come home and like teach me all these new songs that you learned.
Yeah.
And like even the Pledge of Allegiance, like all these things, like, you know, you would teach me later all these things. And could you imagine our parents too? Because like now, obviously we're familiar with the school system and everything because we grew up in it. And like you're saying, I feel like it was just yesterday that I was in elementary school. So like,
me too.
This was years ago, but I feel like I remember it clearly because I remember even telling like our, you know, my niece, she was like, she was curious too, so excited for school and curious. And she was kind of like, what do you do at school, whatever. And I remember we'd be like, well, you're going to have art class. Like we already know the breakdown. And then we told her all this before we even actually knew about her school. And then even you learning about her school. So they kind of told you like, that's exactly what she's going to be doing. So it's just like, you know, she already has so much more knowledge about it. But could you imagine our parents who didn't know? And like, there wasn't like Google like now or like YouTube where you can watch a video like about, you know, what it's like going to school or whatever. Like, I wonder how they did it because there was no Google. Like
there was nothing. Like our parents had no idea what school in America was.
Yeah.
They could only, I guess, picture it like from their countries.
Yeah. How did they even enroll us? Like I mean,
I don't even know.
Obviously they figured it out. And I think it's so funny for us because like us, this generation, we're just like how could they function? But like they would figure it out. Because
I mean, they would have to go to school. The way that I enrolled my child is online. So I guess, you know, mom, obviously she's the one that probably enrolled us. She probably drove to the school and was like, my child is, you know, going to turn, because I went earlier to school than most. She's going to turn 4 or 5 or whatever it was. Yeah. How do I enroll her? So they're probably like, fill out these papers or something.
And how did she even know that was like the school that belonged to us? Because, for example, like our school wasn't in our neighborhood. It was really close to our house, but it wasn't like in our neighborhood. Like you wouldn't see it. It was so tucked into like another neighborhood that you wouldn't see it just driving down.
No, you would never. You could never even find that school. That school is so hidden away.
Yeah,
and it was a small elementary school. I think there was like maybe in my whole graduating class, I think there was like 50 people. Yeah, in my 5th grade class.
Yeah, which is how I feel like it is. Maybe I don't know all the schools.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like elementary schools, they try to keep it smaller classes because I feel like that's why there's so many elementary schools. That's what I've noticed. At least I don't know, because even when you go to middle school, I feel like there's like
so many kids from so many elementary schools.
5 elementary schools that feed into like this one middle school. But then when you go to high school, it's only like 3 middle schools that feed in and stuff like that. So, but yeah, all this back to school time has me really, every year, even though I'm not going back to school or anything, I always like the back to school season. I like feel it. Like I feel like I'm like it's the start of a new season or something, even though it's not. Like summer's still here. People try to call it fall. It's not fall yet.
But everybody in school is saying it's fall, you know?
Yeah. And yeah, you know, the back to school time reminds me of going back to school just in general, like all the different grades, you know,
Yeah.
like that little, I don't know why I'm getting those feelings of like when you have like a little bit of like you're nervous but excited to go back to school, whatever. And I'm not even going back to school.
It's because of the baby, you know, and I call her my baby, so she's our baby.
Yeah.
It's because of her. I really do think it is because I'm
feeling it like for her.
Yeah. I mean, I'm anxious.
Me too.
I'm anxious. I'm really anxious.
Yeah. And everything's gonna be fine, but there's also so many things that you can think about in your head and all that, but like
in this world is a crazy place.
I know, but we can't think about that stuff because you just can't think that way. And so we have to just think that she's gonna be fine and everything's gonna be okay.
Positive.
Exactly. But yeah, I also got me thinking about just like even like college days, like going back to school and going to college and everything.
I remember that like it was yesterday.
Me too.
Literally.
So clearly. And I remember even just again, like with us being first gen and all that, like when it was your time to go to college, because you're like we're 2.5 years apart, but you're 3 grades.
3 grades separates us. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember when it was time for you to start thinking about college and everything, and how like you had nobody to guide you. Like our parents had no idea how college works here in America. It's completely different than how college is in their countries and also in their generation, because how things function right now is way different than how when they were brought up, right? And when they were going through school and all that.
And I'm sure how people go to college now is different when we were starting college too.
Exactly.
They probably do things a lot different.
Yeah. But it would be familiar to us.
Very familiar to us,
yeah,
of course.
Like when the baby goes to college eventually, our baby, so many years from now, but like whenever she does, like you'll be there to guide her. I'll be here. Like,
of course.
She'll know.
We went through it.
Exactly. And we know exactly how it works and all that. But like, I just remember you having to go to college and like us thinking the only options were for you to go sleep away somewhere, like go live on campus somewhere.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like that's a lot of things that people like don't talk about, how like when you're first gen, there's not always resources for everybody. So it's just like,
and the school didn't help either. That's the thing. The school doesn't help. So I was literally asking my other friends who are also first generation.
Exactly.
And I'm asking them like, you know, what are you guys doing? They're like, yeah, we're just applying to all these schools, whatever school kind of came up in your mind or we heard about or something, because we didn't know, you know, what to do or whatever. And then I had one friend who, he was, you know, born and raised here.
Yeah.
And so I kind of asked him, like, what are you doing? He said, well, you have to go.
Yeah. And his
online.
parents were from here.
His
like
parents
born and
were
raised
from
here.
here. So, and he was the last one.
Yeah.
So he had like 5 brothers and sisters, and he was 4 other ones. He's the 5th one.
Yeah.
And so he kind of helped me a little bit.
And he knew what he was doing. He knew exactly what
because his parents were also filling out the forms for him and doing stuff. And that's stuff that I remember mom telling me clearly. She was just like, I've helped you with all this stuff. She's like, with this college stuff, she's like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know how to help you.
Yeah.
She's like, you have to. I'm here to support you. She's like, but I don't know. I'm not sure what to do.
Yeah.
Like, how do I help you? What do we do to do this stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And I had to get like some transcripts. I remember I had to send that out.
Yeah.
I had to do the SATs, which that was another thing.
Yeah.
I did my SAT prep. You know, our parents paid for
a course that you did.
A course that I did to do the ACT. I mean, not the ACT.
SAT. Because you could do ACT too. I forgot what that was for. But
yeah,
like,
for something else. You know, doing all that stuff. And because I told him, I'm like, I need to do the SATs. I'm like, because that's what this guy told me. He's like, you have to do the SATs to go into college. I'm like, oh my God. So then me and my other friend, who was also another first generation girl, we were like, our friend told us to do this. Let's both sign up and do this class. So we did this class together after school in our high school and just like trying and everything. And so in the end, I end up, you know, applying to these schools. I decide not to go because it's too far away. I'm like, you know, how am I going to just get up and go? I'm literally 17 years old.
Yeah.
How am I going to just, you know, leave my house? I wasn't ready.
Exactly.
So I decided to not go. And I'm like, what do I do now?
Yeah. And I remember in our family, it was like a big topic too. I remember we were talking about it like every day, like leading up to like you having, when you applied and then hearing back from those places and everything, whether you got accepted or not. We were just that in between time, we were just like, you know, if she gets accepted, I remember we were thinking with our parents and everything. And we were like, they don't want you to go. Like, they don't want you to go away to school. You didn't want to go away to school. I didn't want you to go away to school. I was like, this is going to be so sad. I was only like 14 at the time. And I was like, I'm not ready to just like not have you at home anymore. Yeah. And it was just, I feel like that's one thing that's like not talked about that much, of like how children of American immigrants to America, I should say, excuse me.
Yeah.
And especially being a first child of an immigrant family in America is so hard. So props to you, because like it's so hard. You have to really like, you found out all this stuff on your own. Like our parents didn't even know SATs that existed. I didn't even know SATs. I wasn't at that level yet. I was just like, going into freshman year. So I was like, I had no idea even of those words. Like, and I learned this all through you while you were figuring this out.
Yeah.
So you literally had to figure that all out by yourself. And then when it came time, like I was saying, like once you apply and everything, doing all that stuff by yourself also and everything, we were like, there's that cultural thing. Like, I just feel like, and I know we're going to get to this part, like our final, like, well, we finally figured out how it worked out. But, until we figured that out, and not everybody has that, by the way, where they live. So like, we're lucky that we have that option here. But
I didn't even know that.
It's like such a pull within your cultures, because our culture is, they don't want us to go live out of our house to go to school.
Ourselves, we don't want to go.
We don't want to
our
ourselves.
Culture is, Middle Eastern culture is very similar to the Spanish culture.
Yeah.
So, in both of our cultures, our parents, they're like, you don't leave your house until you're married.
Exactly.
And that's when you leave. I mean, that's exactly what I did. The first day I ever slept outside of my house was the day that I got married.
Yeah.
That's when I moved out, was the day I got married.
Yeah.
And so, which is really weird for some people. When I talk to people about that, whether it's friends or just people in general, anybody, even my doctor, they ask, random questions sometimes. They're in shock.
Yeah.
That I say that. They're like, you never lived outside your house? I'm like, no, never.
Yeah.
Ever. What about college? No.
No. Yeah.
And I would commute. And that's what I did. So what ended up happening was I did the SATs, but I didn't want to go anywhere. And
you didn't want to live outside the house. I didn't want to leave outside. We didn't want you to go either. Our parents were just like, no, like,
you're too young.
Like, what are the other options? Like, you're too young. And for a second, like, I know I've told you before, but I thought like, oh my God, I'm like, you're not going to be able to go to college. I'm like, because they don't want you to go live outside the house and live on campus. There's no other option. This is what I was thinking, right? I'm like, that's it. You're not going to go to college. You're just going to like have to find a job. And then I was like low-key excited, because I was like, wait, this means that when I'm done with high school, I'm done with school. I don't have to go to college. So if she doesn't go to college, then I don't have to go to college.
Right.
Because I feel like, you're like, you set like the path. So like, if you set that expectation, I'm like, our parents are not going to be like, well, you have to go. They're going to be like, oh no, that's just what happens.
Yeah.
So anyways, I was young. I was dumb, because I didn't think that like...
You didn't think further ahead. I mean, you're only 14 years old.
Exactly. So. I didn't think further ahead that I was like...
Your brain wasn't fully developed.
Exactly.
So you're fine.
So I was kind of happy, but also really scary, because I didn't know what was going to happen with you. That's it.
But just to make it clear, mom and dad, our parents, they were 100% okay if I wanted to go.
Right.
And let's say go to, something that was a little further away from the house.
Yeah. Oh, you had some options that were like an hour away.
Yeah. They were okay that if I wanted to go.
Right.
And
right. They weren't like, you can't go.
Yeah. They never said I couldn't go. They were just worried for me,
and
just
sad.
And sad. Yeah. And so was I. And so, but they never told me don't go.
Right. Exactly.
They never said you're not going to go. You're not going to do it. I actually applied to many schools that were not even here in our state.
Yeah.
So I just decided I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
And because I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared to do that. I would be homesick. And I thank God that I didn't do it.
Yeah.
So what I did was I actually spoke to that same friend. And he told me there's a community college that you can go to.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God.
And that you just drive to. You don't live there.
Yeah.
It's like, because obviously that's what community college is. By the time we're figuring this out, we didn't know that.
Right. And I was like, I've actually driven by there my entire life.
Yeah, we didn't even know that that's what it was.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a real like school that kids go to. I thought it was for like, I didn't even know what it was.
I didn't even know what it was. Honestly, we would drive by that all the time, and I would just kind of like read it, and like, when you just like read it and it just, and when you're out the other, like,
exactly.
It's just,
I didn't think anything of it.
Think about it. Exactly.
So I ended up, going there, and I didn't need the SATs. I didn't need anything. I just literally sent my high school transcript over to them.
Yeah.
And, did some placement testing, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And that's all I did. And I am so thankful for going to that community college because I loved it.
Yeah.
It really prepared me for, going into, to finish out my 2 years.
Exactly.
So I got my associates from that community college.
Yeah.
Then, and I did it quick because I would take summer classes, winter classes, all kinds of classes. I never was,
you knew exactly how many credits you needed to get done in the classes that you needed. And you were just like, boom, 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 let me.
And now I know some people, they look down on people that go to community college, which I think is crazy.
Because that's the thing, like when you, like where we grew up and everything, our community college is like a highly rated community college. Yeah. So it's not like looked down frowned upon if you go there.
No.
But when you go like out of even where we grew up, even like in our same state, other places of the state, but other states and everything, people, if you go to community college, you're like, you know, quote unquote a failure, which I don't believe this at all. This is what people were trying to tell us. But let me tell you something, those same people that said that, at least in my experience, to me, because I went to community college as well, they'd be like, oh, like they were looking down on it. And then I ended up finishing like community college, transferring to 4-year institution.
Exactly.
And finishing my bachelor's and everything before them. And some of them didn't even end up graduating. So
you even ended up getting your, some people are still in school that you know, and you've already gotten even another degree.
Yeah. I even got my MBA.
You got your MBA. Yeah.
Yeah.
Congrats.
No, but anyways, don't let nobody put you down. Like whatever your you know, path is, as long as you're getting education and trying to get it, I feel like don't worry what other people say.
Yeah.
You're doing a good job. But yeah, you went to community college.
Yeah.
And then you figured out from there also, because that was like kind of like the first stepping stone. We were like okay. For the next 2 years, we all kind of relaxed like in our household.
It was a relaxing time because I was like, okay, I know what I'm going to do.
And I still didn't know for the bachelor's
degree.
Yeah.
So like for my bachelor's degree, I was like, oh my God, now I actually have to leave.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is going to be the worst time of my life.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, because thankfully in our area where we live, it's such a, like this area that we live in is so diverse. It's so like populated,
exactly.
And they have so many things that you don't really have to go that far.
Yeah. So many options.
So there is like these, like, I guess you can call it like a satellite school.
That's what they call it. Mm-hmm.
And you have your, let's say, you know, it's like the regular 4-year institution, but they have like a little piece of that school in a campus.
So it's like you are attending that 4-year institution.
You are attending that 4-year institution.
You just are at a different campus than the main campus. That's all that it is. And even the teachers come from the main campus to this smaller campus. Yeah. And they this is what they choose, you know, whatever, like that's how they work. So like basically, even when you are attending that school, but you don't have to live there. You don't have to commute all the way over there either. It's a little bit closer place for you. So like, and I feel
it was like for me, from the house, it was maybe like a 20-minute drive, I think.
Exactly.
Maybe even that.
Yeah. And I remember like the way you found out about that is because in this community college, they did have a lot of information and a lot of resources, because they really wanted to make it an easy path for you to transfer.
Yeah.
And that was like, I remember when you figured that out, I was like,
I was relieved. I was so relieved.
I was relieved too, because then for me, kind of like being the little sister, and especially I feel like I always followed in your footsteps, because my parents definitely, they wanted us to, like our parents wanted me to. And also I'm never like, oh my God, I need to forge a new path.
And I would always tell you everything too, because I was like, I wanted it to be easier, because why wouldn't I? You know, and that's what sisters are for. You know?
Exactly. And you did a great job, because then I already knew what I needed, what was my path going to be. And
like, don't take the SATs.
Exactly. And so I was like, thank you so much. Because I remember everybody was prepping for the SATs, and they were like, oh my God, it's so hard and stressing out and like taking it and like not getting a good score. And I was like, I'm not even taking the SATs.
There's no reason.
Because I knew I was going to community college first, and then my 4-year institution. And for the community college, you don't need an SAT score at all. They don't need to see that. They don't care about that. And I was always good at school, so I am curious what my SAT score would have been. But because school has always been easy to me, I always would get good grades
without even trying,
almost straight A's. And if not, like there was like 1 B in there. So like all A's and B's though. So again, doesn't mean that you're dumb if you go to community college.
It does not mean that.
And anyways, I knew my path too. I ended up also going to community college, transferring to 4-year institution, and I just felt so relieved. And so many other kids like us, like especially like first generation kids, ended up taking this path too. Yeah. Because it's just more comfortable for you. Now there are first generation kids out there who they want to go.
Yeah, and I had friends that were like that. First generation, they left. They went to different, states completely.
That's what they wanted. They wanted to have that college experience and everything, and that's perfectly fine if you want that. But just for like us, for example, and I'll speak for myself, for me, thinking about like, I remember some of my friends would be like, oh my God, I can't wait to like go live in a dorm. Or me thinking about living in a dorm, sharing, like I would see my friends, okay, they were like those that did go for a little bit, because nobody ended up even graduating from when they went to those schools. But it's just seeing like their room or their bathroom, them showing videos or whatever. The bathroom, the showers where they shower, at least from this school, okay, and this wasn't a good school. It was literally like a locker room showers, that you just have like that curtain. There's like a whole bunch of showers. I don't know. I just could not live that way. Sharing a bathroom with other people that you don't even know.
Sweetie, sharing a room. How can I cannot even sleep if I'm in a hotel.
How do you know that person isn't a psycho?
Exactly. I would not be able to even sleep next to somebody that I have no idea who they are.
I would not be able to relax. I would not be able to sleep.
I would be on edge. I would just feel on edge because I'm like, how? And then I hear all these stories about people, there's YouTube videos on it and everything. Like my roommate did this, did that, like all this crazy stuff. I cannot live like that.
Yeah.
I was in my house. Yeah. Going back, having a nice home cooked meal. Exactly. Sleeping in my bed, relaxing. I didn't have to worry about any of that stuff. Yeah. I was living the good life.
Me too. I loved my college experience. Yeah. The way that I had it. It's not the typical college experience, like what people like to do. Partying, whatever. Drunk as but that's not for me anyway. So I'm like, I honestly, I don't know. Do you feel like you missed out? I don't feel like I missed out at all. It's not my vibe.
That's not for me. I don't drink. I don't even like to party. Yeah. Mom has always had to force me to do things and stuff like that. I'm a very introverted person. I really don't like that stuff. So yeah, I didn't miss out on anything. I think I had the best time. Me too. Commuting. Same. And I loved my experience.
Same. And I had
a little bit because I also, we can go into that one day about my college experience, which was like, well, not in the community college, but once I transferred to the 4-year institution, how that was literally crazy. I was so thankful that I finally left that place.
Once you graduated, you couldn't wait.
My God. And even with the whole graduation, there was a whole issue.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That was crazy.
That was crazy. And luckily I didn't have that experience. Thank goodness. I had a much more positive experience. I loved my college, community college, then my 4-year institution. Like I just had so much fun, even with like all my friends that I made in that school and everything, which we were all commuters. We would still have a good time. We would go after school. If we had time, we would go to a restaurant, we just had a good time anyways. And like, so I feel like that's my college experience is different than the party, whatever, but it's good for me. Like you said, I got to go back home to my own bed, my own space, my own nice clean room, bathroom that I don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah. I just can't think about it. Like literally stepping your feet. I know you can wear flip-flops and all stuff, but that's just disgusting.
So uncomfortable. And I see people like take their little like shower caddies like when they go shower every time or even that's so annoying. Uncomfortable. I'm not made for that type of life. So not for me. But whoever likes that, that's perfect for them. Like that's good. Live your own life.
The majority of the world, they love to go to dorms.
Exactly.
But this is a thing. And I feel but the majority of first gen, kids, we really don't want to leave our home.
Exactly. And that's what I noticed a lot too. And I was like, I would even feel bad because also money's an issue too, right? Like when you go to a 4-year institution, they're really expensive to go live at a place and it makes the price increase like more than double, I feel like when you
But there's student loans and everything, so you can
there's all that too. But like I feel like when you're a first generation person, sometimes you might not know of those resources first, and two, you might not know of all your options. Like I see that like now when I see like younger people, even online and everything, and they're like, they're kind of caught in between that. They're like, I don't want to go live away. I just feel like sometimes people don't know all these options, and they're like, if I don't go live on campus then I can't get an education. And I feel like that's not how it is. Like there's so many other options out there. Depending where you live, maybe they don't have as many options as we do, because like we said, where we live is a lot more populated of an area and very diverse and all that. But there has to be some other option. There has to be like even you just commuting, even if that commute, I know friends who like they didn't want to go live, they would commute for like 2 hours to school, and they would just plan out their days so they only have to go to school twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays or whatever it might be. So I just feel like that's like kind of something you don't hear too much about, but like it puts the first generation people at a disadvantage sometimes, because just because you don't want to live on campus, you want to live at your house and be a commuter, like they don't always think that that's an option. Yeah. And it puts you kind of in a difficult spot, because then you're like sacrificing your education, which you don't want to do. You want to,
exactly. And the best thing though to do is, if you don't know, you need to ask questions. Yeah. You need to ask questions, and you need to just ask, your own friends. Yeah. The school, people, the school, they know, they have to know something. They have to give you some kind of option.
A teacher, if there's a teacher that you like or whatever, or a counselor. I know that when it was my time, I already knew because of you, but I remember we had a counselor that my other friends that they didn't really know. Like I was telling them, but I guess they wanted
a confirmation. Maybe.
Exactly. Need a confirmation. They wanted to know more. Like they would go to counselors like, okay, like let me join you. And we had like this little like session, which it was just like, it wasn't the whole grade or anything. It was just, whoever wanted to, it was like voluntary. Yeah. And they told us of all these options for us that we don't want to go live on campus. We don't want to go straight to a 4-year institution or whatever it might be, So, and they had a lot of resurces that, you could use. So anyways, that's just our little 2 cents on our experience on being first gen and, just kind of like navigating through all this stuff that you don't know. And like, again, I said, being a little sister, I already was at an advantage because I had you to kind of find that path. But being the first child of an immigrant family in America, it ain't easy.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't think it was that hard either. I was just like, I never saw it as hard because that's just what it is for me. I didn't think, oh, poor me, this is so hard for me. No, I just...
And you didn't give up, which that's really good.
And I mean, that's what it is. You know, it is what it is. Yeah. I never felt bad for myself. I never thought, oh my God, this is so hard. Why me? No, it's just my parents don't know. And I always knew that because they're, you know, not from here. And I've always known that. Yeah. So it's not a secret. And I'm just like, well, if they don't know, then I have to figure it out. And if I don't know where to figure it out, I have to ask. Exactly. I have to ask teachers. I have to ask, you know, my friends. And that's what I would do. And that's how I figured things out. And I never thought I'm at a disadvantage or I'm struggling or anything. I just had to figure it out. Maybe it took me a little bit longer than most people, but it ended up happening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that just shows you too, like if you want to do something, you can find a way. Like,
you can. You
don't be like over here being like, oh my God, my life is so difficult. Like I hate that I have to do this. Okay, maybe you hate that you have to do it, but just do it. Just move forward and then you figure it out. And it ended up being a really good like path that you ended up taking.
Yeah, it was a great path, and I'm happy, and I have my degree, and I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, me too. And I'm so happy that you helped me with my path too, because obviously I had a way easier because I already knew. Like I think by the time I was like, I think definitely 10th grade, if not 11th grade, maybe I already knew what I was going to do. I remember I would even tell my friends, I'm like, this is what I'm doing. They're like, oh, but what about this? What about that? Like, I'm applying for schools. I'm like, I'm not even applying.
Yeah, because there was no point. You already knew. That was the best way to do it.
Yeah,
at least for us. In our case, that was the best thing to do.
And no regrets. Like I said, no regrets.
So I had a great time. I enjoyed my time in college. I had a great time, and I don't regret it at all. I met my husband in college. Yeah. So it was great.
Yeah. If anything, that's the one positive thing. No, but there's so many positive things.
So many positives. But I did meet him there.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that's just, you know, our story on college and everything, and being first generation, and just, you know, how different it is when you're going back to school. Yeah. But yeah, it got us thinking, this back to school season got us thinking about all this stuff and everything. Yeah. So for anyone who's going back to school, good luck to everybody. Have fun. School sucks. Be safe. But
yeah, school does suck.
But it's honestly not that bad. You have a lot of fun too.
Yeah, you have a lot of fun. You know, it's a time to socialize. That's what I remember. Yeah. Especially with high school. Man, high school was the best. Yeah. Because you have your friends. It's just like, especially if you're a senior, man, your life is so good right now. You don't even know what's going to hit you later, because it does hit you like a ton of bricks when you go into the real world.
College itself is like, it's so much harder than high school. So it's a rude awakening.
It is a rude awakening, because they're like... Yeah, I'm not telling you what to do. So,
and then from college to the real world, that's another rude awakening, because you go from high school having to go to school every single day, Monday through Friday, right? To college, you pick your own schedule, and you don't have to go to school that early. I would pick, you pick the later classes, maybe starting class at 10, 11, whatever it might be. And then when you get out of college, you have to go to work, and you're back at that like
8 a.m., 7 a.m. wake up call. Not even a wake up call. You have to be at work. I mean,
exactly, be at work like 7:30, and usually the commute is worse than when you're going to school, because schools are closer and everything. So,
and then you don't have any days off. They don't have a Memorial Day, or anything.
No half days, no classes canceled.
Teacher didn't show up, so you just leave.
Yeah, none of that
stuff. You gotta go work is the worst.
I know, but when you're in school, you can't. I was like, work would be amazing compared to this.
No, school is 1,000,000 times better than going to work,
except for the homework. I hated the homework. I feel like they give you,
the homework is pointless. Well, it's just a practice, I guess.
It's a practice, but the amount of homework they would give you is like unnecessary. Like they give too much.
Doing homework and studying for like 4 to 6 hours.
I remember some days
on each class.
It'd be like a Sunday, and I would spend 10 hours working on one class's like work, like whether it's a paper, whatever it was, researching, writing the paper, all that. It would be like 10 hours. That's my whole freaking Sunday when you think about it, because how many hours are you really awake for? Because I also wanted to sleep in
12, 13 hours maybe.
Exactly. So anywho, good luck to everybody out there going to school. And yeah, school's so important. So I know you might think it's pointless at the moment, but it honestly is so important. I feel like it teaches you so many things for life. There's also many other paths than going to school, of course, to be successful.
But from kinder to 12th grade, those are the important years. Yeah. That teaches you responsibility. It teaches you, a routine. It teaches you a lot of stuff. Yeah, that you need to do.
You meet your friends there. I mean, some of my best friends I met, I feel like, through middle school and high school, probably mostly. Yeah. So yeah, that's just.
It's a good time. It's a good time. And just remember that it's a great time. And if you're struggling during school, there's other people that are also struggling too, but don't worry about it, because it's over. Yes. It's going to be over so fast. The years pass by so quickly.
Yes. Just enjoy it, because then later you're going to be like wishing you were back in high school or middle school or whatever it might be, elementary school. And now that, our baby's going to elementary school, I just think about how fun that was.
It was fun.
So easy. Life was so easy back then. So anyway,
we can keep going.
You're just a kid. But anyways, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and we'll be back next week on Wednesday with another episode.
Yep. See you guys.
Bye.